Challenger.
Welcome, guys and gals. This is your host, Frog Prince Rana, and thank you for dropping by. Another day, another flat earth believer, some more silliness. What not to love? Today, we look at a debunk video from FlatEarther, Level Earth Observer, or Leo. He's responding to Astronomer Doctor Stuart Clark. Let's jump into it.
And already we can see problems. Why do people believe in the flat earth theory? 1, objective reality is not a theory. 2, why have you put a straw man bullshit representation on the front of your video with edges, waterfalls and discs flying through vacuums?
Through most of my video, I would be addressing Leo. So Leo, one thing I have noticed after watching your response is, you say things that I'm about to say to you. Isn't that ironic? Let's remember this objective reality. We will come back to this later. First, strawman argument. Well, this is when someone takes another person's argument or point, distorts it or exaggerates it in some kind of extreme way, and then attacks the extreme distortion, as if that is really the claim the first person is making. Now, pray tell me, who's claiming that image is your flat earth model? You guys don't have any flat earth model, or maybe you just have way too many. This is the deal. When you guys ask us, normal people, for a visual illustration of planet Earth, we can give you a photo like this. So Leo, things get even harder. As Earth is a sphere, we cannot get to see all the continents at the same time. Thus, depending on when it is taken, we would have different lands in view. But it is one Earth, one model. Now, as flat Earth is only in your imagination, you lot come up with different ideas. I have heard of flat Earth with or without dome, with fake sun and moon, to real sun and moon but just not that far. I have heard of a vortex in the middle that hides sun and moon, even holes in the flat earth where sun and moon goes into. When it gets to visual illustration, we're spoiled for choice. I love Discworld, so often I would use a photo with great attune. Now I'm almost sure none of you guys believe in a giant turtle. But as an imaginative object, I think it looks pretty good. But we never say this is the model all flat earthers believe in. If we have an illustration that has a dome and flat, well, that visual illustration kind of represents your imagination. And by yours, I mean some flat earthers. Do you see your strawman argument here? We never claim this illustration or any other make-believe drawing to be your model. I mean, you guys have been trying it for years and years. Projecting a sphere on a 2D plane is impossible without making compromises. But on a flat plane, it should be super easy. Yet in all these years since 1956, you guys have not been able to provide a single world map. So once you guys all agree on a model, I'm sure we'll be all very glad to use that illustration and claim that is your model. Until then, stop strawman argument. Uji fella?
So already we're off to a bad start, but we will hold this against the fella. Let's see what he's got to say.
I agree.
I'm Doctor Stuart Clark. I'm an astronomer and I'm the author of The Unknown Universe. It's so clearly obvious that the world isn't flat.
You're looking at a man who's triggered, who's obviously not long paid off his debts for his university education. The ego will not let it go. He'll ignore the substance in favour of a good story. Because it's quite obviously flat, mate.
Great. 1 minute 7 seconds in, and the first ad hominem. Well, Leo, maybe I am misunderstanding you. But it appears that you don't have a high opinion of university education. I'm sorry that you feel that way. But an education is how we get to learn about stuff. zetetic astronomy and what you observe is not how anything works. And remember earlier when I said, you say things that I'm about to say to you? Well, yes, your ego will not let it go. You will ignore the substance in favor of a good story.
We see when ships leave the harbour.
If that was curvature, dear boy, we would see ships coming over from left to right. We'd see curvature from left to right on ground level. We never do.
Leo, please pay attention. This is super simple. Let's put you in the middle of the ocean at sea level. This is not to scale, but is just to illustrate my points. With a given boat height, that green circle is the range where part of the boat would be visible. If the boat is outside the circle, it is not visible to you. We really don't care about distance and such for this example. As I don't live next to seaside, I couldn't get actual footage. So I basically mocked up some view. These are not real photos. Well, one is. The other is illustration of what would happen. If a ship is coming towards you, with you facing the ship, we would get a view like this. We would see the front of the ship slowly coming into view where the top would appear before the bottom. If you're facing in a way where the ship is approaching you from your right, well, then is it coming from your right because you're facing another direction? Or should we use a fixed reference like north? If going away from you, we should see the back of ship slowly disappearing from bottom up. How about if the boat takes the path shown on screen? It is taking a southwest to northeast route. Leo, would you call that right to left? Well, as it happens, a fellow YouTuber, Unitoone, has uploaded such a video footage. Link would be in description. We see the sight of the boat during the whole video. It is also getting smaller, meaning it is going farther from us. Those two observations means that ship has a diagonal route from our point of view. From the ship's point of view, it is just going straight. So Leo, does that debunk you?
We do get obstruction out in a straight line. Call that the convergence point between the sea and the sky, perspective, the range of our vision. Call it whatever you want.
Well, we tend to not call a bunch of stuff by the same name. Come on, fella. That would be just plain confusing. Convergence point is the point to which rays of light converge. Perspective is the way we see something or how we perceive it from our point of view. Finally, range of vision is really angular distance, the minimum angle an object has to make to our eyes for us to be able to resolve it. Finally, that thing that comes between us and the ship over the horizon is called Earth's curvature.
You can see as they gradually disappear below the horizon.
Yawn.
You can see if you go up onto a tall tower or a hill and you see more over the horizon.
I agree, you can see further. You're not seeing over a horizon like you're looking round a ball. Wake up, please.
Leo, wake up, please. You do get to see further as you move up higher in elevation. If you have a tall building nearby, go and look at it yourself. If not, call back to any time you have been on an aircraft. You get to see a lot more up in the sky. You talk a lot about observation. Well, this is an observation. You can't possibly be this stupid.
All our physics is constructed now. The physics of orbits, actually things going around the Earth, is all constructed.
Yes, all the physics of orbital mechanics are constructed. Get it? Constructed. They're theoretical orbital mechanics. We never see them. You've never experienced in a direct fashion. All you have is stuff on a computer screen.
Well, Doctor Stuart Clark is an astronomer, so I highly doubt he would have experienced stars in a direct fashion that you like it to be. It appears you need it to be touched and such. Well, there are people who have designed and constructed satellites and such that uses orbital mechanics. Leo, let me ask you a different question. Have you ever been to an internet backbone provider? Did you ever pull out a cable and say, oops, there goes Midland? Have you personally seen hundreds of racks with what seems to be millions of RJ45 cables coming out from? If you haven't, does that mean internet doesn't exist? I gather you do believe in the technology of millions of computers connected together without experiencing it in a direct fashion. All you have is stuff on a computer screen.
With three-dimensional spherical world, and the pictures from space show our world as a globe.
So if I show my bank manager a picture of a statement of mine with £10 million in it, he's going to believe that, is he? Wake up, fella.
Well, if you have additional documents and proof for such claim, yes, sure he will. We knew the shape of the Earth long before we ventured into space. We have many different proofs and empirical evidence based on mathematical models. Now we can either try to explain to you how lunar eclipse shifts over horizon and such points to spherical globe, or we can show the photos knowing that we have actual proof. Maybe we'll show photos of satellite with the knowledge of our technology, which is based on orbital formula on spherical Earth. But do understand, we never claim a photo from space being the proof. Maybe I shouldn't speak for all, but most of us would never do that.
And yet somehow, there are some people that still seem to believe that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, do you know, it's a funny one, old doctor. I kind of choose the things that can be proven, the things of substance, the things I can touch, feel, the things that can be demonstrated. I choose those things, the things that can be observed. I choose those things over photography and a good story. Don't get me wrong, I will use photography if it goes in line with the substance.
Funny thing, Leo, do you know what carbon monoxide is? It is a colorless, odorless, and tasteless flammable gas. Oh, by the way, it can also kill you. My point is, choosing only what can be observed in a very narrow sense is only limiting oneself from understanding the reality. Our vision is very limited when it comes to different wavelengths. When we see something through infrared or thermal, we get to see the world in a completely different way. That view is not wrong in any sense of the word. You say you choose things that can be proven? Well, we have proof from the shape to the rotation of Earth.
A 15-degree-per-hour drift.
And yet, you would refuse to accept it. At least you said one honest thing. You will use photography as long as it goes with your narrative.
But as we see throughout the ages, the prevailing scientific theories of the day can be overturned as we move to more precise understanding of the universe around us.
Mate, the truth never changes. Ever. It's always backed by practical reality.
Oh, I hate us. Why do we have to be so truthful? Oh, I remember. Because we are mostly honest? Most of us normies would agree with Dr. Clark when it comes to scientific theories. Over time, we develop better technologies, better understanding of things around us. If you look at history of basic anatomy, you would see how our knowledge about the innards working of our body have developed over time. That is what it means by overturning prevailing theories, from bloodletting to germ theory.
What you're discussing is the narrative that gets changed by the controllers, the morons that are trying to control us and oppress us and lie to us, and that fool people with silly haircuts that pretend they're somebody because they stare at lights in the sky. Get out of here.
I guess Leo is talking about some controllers that had been lying to us for generations and managed to bend physics in such a way that every experiment is repeatable, obviously with the same result by anyone and everyone. Well, maybe not flat earthers. And yes, who knows more about stars? Those who stare at the lights in the sky for months and months and notice what we call parallax? Hell no. One can know a lot more by watching Leo's video. Get out of here.
And generally speaking, those become more complicated. So there is a tendency for people to reject that reality, the science of the day, and just fall back on comfortable myths.
The cheek of this clown. The absolute cheek of this guy. Yes, we reject your CGI. Yes, we reject your Masonic magic tricks. Yes, we reject your ridiculous stories. We only accept real proof.
Leo, maybe you want to do that awful thing called reading and learning? I'm sure you know what CGI stands for. Well, at least I'm hoping that you do. But I don't think you understand what it means. Next, Freemasonry or Masonry consists of fraternal organization that traces their origins to the local fraternities of stonemasons that from the end of the 14th century. Now, what does that have to do with magic? And that question is coming from a mentalist or a magician for grown-up. So yes, I do know a little bit about magic. But I fail to see any congruence between the words in your statement.
Come on, mate, wake up. And why would anyone trust you? Why would anyone trust anyone, in fact, with a haircut like that? Get out of here.
I'm beginning to think Leo might be bald.
My own pet theory is that they're just doing it for comic effect, just to see how far they can push it.
Yeah. We're dealing with morons on a daily basis like yourself who are so ignorant to the actual truth of this place. Yeah, we're just doing it for a crack, dealing with ignorant trolls online, hit piece videos. Yeah.
Dr. Clark is being nice here and giving you guys way too much credit. I personally think you guys do it for the money.
And I still don't have a freaking 1,000 subscribers. What the hell's going on?
Yep, one can start earning ad money from 1,000 subs.
That the Earth was flat. Well, how much thickness does it then have? These are the
Full exploration, mate.
kind of questions you'd have to ask. Okay, you've got an edge. Well,
Who says there's an edge? Have you been to the edge? None of us are making that claim. Containment has to be involved because of all practical reality tells us all bodies of water need to be contained. So there needs to be some sort of containment. Who says anything about edges or ice walls?
Leo, are you really that stupid? The point is extremely valid. If the Earth is flat, then a question is, how thick is it? Ask us how thick the Earth is, and we will give you a circumference value at equator. It is not a gotcha question. Every geometric shape except a sphere has edges. The moment you say the Earth is not spherical, then there has to be an edge. So who says there is an edge? Well, you're saying there is an edge by saying it's flat Earth. I know you don't want to talk about edge because that's when you guys sound truly stupid. Either it's a giant wall protected by government and some treaties known only to you, where the rest of us with enough money can travel through South Pole. You guys are dumb enough to talk about a hollow Earth, followed by cricket noise. And finally, some bullshit about, air quote, them stopping it all. Who says ice walls? Well, your peer does. Fair enough, it's not ice wall. And you do agree that there must be a container. Now, would you care to talk about this container? Of course not. And we all know why. Your ego is refusing to accept the truth.
would things fall off the edge? Well, how do you generate gravity to make...
I don't even need to involve your heliocentric fantasies in objective reality. Are things really being pulled, pal? Or is it just their own weight coming down? Dear oh dear oh dear. And you're a doctor.
Again, Leo demonstrates his utter lack of knowledge about what he is talking about. Heliocentric fantasy, as he calls it, has nothing to do with gravity. It is the astronomical model in which the Earth and planets revolve around the Sun, whereas gravity is a force with a direction and magnitude like any other vector. Leo, when you say their own weight coming down, in a sense you are correct. Surprising, right? Well, it is because weight is a product of mass of object and gravity. So congratulations for using gravity to explain gravity. Mass is not a force, and we need a force to explain the downward pull. Note that it is downward and not sidewards or any other direction. Dr. Clark talks about gravity and how a force like that does not make sense on a flat plane, as the pull would be towards the center of mass. If we imagine it's a flat plane with equal density, everyone around the world would be pulled towards the center, meaning towards North Pole. Obviously, it's not something I expect you to understand. Dear oh dear, Leo, you're truly amazing, and not in the sense you might think you are.
Off the end. A flat surface is fairly unstable to the other forces. It would be flexible and
What are you on about? We're not surfing, mate.
moved around. It's hard to even begin actually to talk about what a flat Earth would be like, because it's just so impossible.
Before the start of this video, I would have said a ridiculous haircut was so impossible. I was wrong. And guess what? You're wrong too, pal. Objective reality slaps the silliness and the propaganda out of you. Dear oh dear oh dear.
Ignorance is bliss, right, Leo? At the start, I did mention that we will talk about objective reality. So let's start. We see Polaris only from Northern Hemisphere. We can only see Crux or the Southern Cross from Southern Hemisphere. These are objective reality. So is seeing farther into horizon from a high elevation. Lunar eclipse, both over horizon, shadows cast from sun are the same. Dear oh dear oh dear. This is the best that flat earthers are offering up morons, parroting utter nonsense. So, if I want to be an expert on everything under the sun, I don't need no education. I just need to use my observation and watch some YouTube videos and read Eric Dubay and parrot those many times over debunked claims. This is the mentality of the flat earthers. Insane. Well, this is where I'll end this video. Thank you so much for watching and for sticking around till the end. I do hope you have enjoyed it enough to give it a like, comment, or maybe even share it with friends and families. Being a small channel, I do appreciate your help. If you could also subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Wherever you are, have a safe day. Signing off.
Try.